Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Under the Shadow, directed by Babok Anvari. I watched this as a recommendation in a comment on the channel from @somecontrol268. I watched it following my viewing of The Seed of the Sacred Fig Tree and a second viewing of my favourite cake. I kind of had a mini Iranian film festival. It's very interesting to see all these films in a short period, not least because I know little about Iranian cinema, so it's really good to see some of these quality films. These films all strongly use metaphor to comment on the political and societal situation in Iran, and it's an interesting comparison in how metaphor can be used to represent the authoritarian Iranian state. All three films have this feature. Under the Shadow is a horror film set in the 1980s during the Iran-Iraq War. The narrative follows Shida, a mother who, along with her daughter Dorsa, is facing both the terrors of war and what appears to be a malevolent supernatural presence within their apartment. It's the type of horror film I really like, where the horror serves a purpose. The film has much deeper ideas than just pure horror, but it does really work as a horror film, including some jump scares. It fully works as a film without the metaphor. A big advantage of this is that the metaphor can have more universal application depending on who's using it. Another positive is the running time, 1 hour 24 minutes, half the length of The Seed of the Sacred Tree, which I recently reviewed, but it's much tighter than Sacred Tree. It's more nuanced, and it's possibly saying more. It feels like a substantial film despite its modest running time. The metaphor is really effective here. The spirits represent the multiple layers of fear, repression, grief and trauma, both personal and societal. This is about a permanent haunting from the possibility of being bombed. A massive bomb literally comes through the roof of the building and leaves a big hole. The sound design in the film is fantastic. When the sirens go off, the noises are terrifying, and there's a pervasive sense of dread throughout the whole film. Apart from the threat of being flattened by a bomb, there's also themes and issues here around sexism, gender roles, authoritarianism, and political oppression. I talk about the use of metaphor in my review of The Seed of the Sacred Tree. I make the point that a film should work on multiple levels, that the film should stand in itself even if the viewer doesn't decode the metaphor. I don't think Seed of the Sacred Tree achieves this, but Under the Shadow does this really successfully. It's a really well-made horror film. You can enjoy it at that level, and then the metaphor works on you afterwards. It's really powerful. Under the Shadow is a really smart horror film, enjoyable in itself as that, but then very powerful in terms of the deeper meanings that can be read into the film about the situation in Iran. Highly recommended. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.